So you're planning on visiting Lithuania's capital, Vilnius, in 2025. In this video, I will share 5 things with you that positively surprised me whilst visiting Vilnius. Located in the Baltics, in Eastern Europe, Lithuania is often overlooked because it's next to Poland and Latvia, which can be a bit more popular destinations. While I do love Latvia and Poland, I think Lithuania should definitely be on your bucket list for the next getaway destination. Vilnius is an excellent place for a short trip, a weekend getaway, if you will. If you wanted to, you could spend a week there and still have things to do. I think it could be especially nice in the summer, but we ended up staying there for a long weekend in November and it was still really great. So let's get into the 5 things that positively surprised me whilst visiting Vilnius. The first one is popular within a lot of European cities, but especially here, and that is that it was super easy to get around Vilnius. We took the bus from the airport to our hotel once we arrived. It was under €1, it was like 90 cents when you paid in the bus, and from the bus it was only like a 10-minute walk to our hotel. We actually took not the 88 bus that a lot of places recommend, but another bus, and it was still like easy breezy. There are a lot of e-scooters around, but the thing I liked the most that it was super walkable. Whether it be the 3 crosses on the hill or the Christmas market, we ended up walking everywhere and it was really convenient. So for taxis, we didn't end up taking any taxis, but we did get a Bolt car, which is like kind of like Uber, as you may know. We hired a Bolt car to take us to the airport once we were leaving, since we didn't have too much time, and it ended up costing like 7 to 8 euros. So the second thing that surprised me in a good way was the safety. I knew that Lithuania and Vilnius was probably gonna be pretty safe. It's a small country with nice friendly people, not too much crime. During my 4 days there was no one single incident when I would have felt unsafe. A lot of the locals brought their kids to a lot of places, and we even attended this Christmas market opening, and it was super peaceful. No one was really drinking, or I didn't see any drinking or doing drugs in the center where we were located. I don't know about the drug or alcohol usage in Lithuania in general, but it felt like everyone was very respectful and also took into consideration like the cleanliness of the place. It was really clean. There was like, even after the opening of the Christmas market, the next morning that we woke up and went outside for the first time, no trash anywhere. This is something that surprised me like probably the most, and if you're a foodie, you'll love Vilnius. As someone who has traveled to quite a lot of places in my young age, the amount of good, inexpensive, quality restaurants compared to like the size of Lithuania and Vilnius as a whole was mind-blowing. If you have celiac disease or allergies, or if you're a vegan like me, you can still find so many great options. The chefs and servers at the restaurants, they're really knowledgeable about different food restrictions and diets, and there are a lot of options to choose from. If you're traveling in Vilnius on a weekday, there are so many good lunch deals. You can get like a great meal, a great sufficient lunch that will keep you satisfied for long, for under 10 euros. On our last night, we went to an Indian restaurant. It was a Saturday night, they were fully booked, but we got a reservation the day before. We both had 2 drinks, an appetizer and the main course, and with it came like naan bread and stuff like that. And it was around 60 euros for the 2 of us, which I think is pretty amazing considering you're in Europe in a great city and you can just get like dinner on a weekend with drinks and appetizers for 30 euros per person. That's amazing in my opinion. There's also a lot of cafes and a few Michelin star restaurants. I didn't really delve into those myself, but if you know, you know. you're gonna research it, but really recommend this place for foodies. The fourth thing that surprised me was the amount of people who spoke English. Now, I know in general a lot of young people speak good English no matter where you go, but I have a friend who used to live in Lithuania, in Vilnius actually, and she told me that around like 10 years ago the level of English speakers wasn't so great, but now we got around fine with English, and especially people who are like young adults, they speak really good English no matter where you go. Last but not least, the fifth thing that surprised me about Vilnius was the amount of great, free and inexpensive attractions. For such a compact city, there are so many good museums and attractions that are either really inexpensive or even free to go to. Something that we ended up doing on our first day was actually climbing the hill that leads to Gediminas Tower. The views there are really amazing. You can see the whole city and you can climb up there for free, but if you want to take a little escalator, I think it was like €2 or something. So even if you have disabilities or something that stops you from actually climbing the hill, you can still get there for a cheap price. There's also the hilltop with the 3 crosses, which is pretty famous, and during warmer days I'd say you could definitely spend hours at the riverfront picnicking and playing soccer or something like that. Especially if you're with friends or staying at a hostel, it's really chill to stay there. Now when it comes to museums, there's at least one free one, which is the Money Museum. We didn't have a chance to go there ourselves, we kind of ran out of time, but one place we ended up going was the KGB Museum. So the museum, cost-wise, it was only €6, which I think is really reasonable for the experience you get. With the ticket price, you get to see the exposition, which is like the upper levels of the building, and once you're finished visiting the actual museum, you can go to the cellar, and in the cellars they have the old prison of the KGB. There are so many other museums you can go to if you're into art or opera or theater. There is so many great places to visit in Vilnius. So there you go, that's 5 things that positively surprised me whilst visiting Vilnius. I really loved my stay there. I will definitely be going back, trying more restaurants, visiting more museums, maybe going during the spring or summertime to see the nature and maybe go to other places in Lithuania as well. If you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it, I'd appreciate you liking it. Let me know if you're visiting Vilnius in 2025. I'd love to know. And with that being said, thank you for watching the video and see you next time.